exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Dat Cajun Place is your LSU and Saints football headquarters. Saints and LSU fans, wear your team colors and score a free Jell-O shot when your team scores a touchdown. Only at Dat Cajun Place. Get $5 pitchers on select draft beers during all live football games. Catch all the games at once with the NFL package on 27 large TVs at Dat Cajun Place. And the best wings on the beach. The locals' favorite, Dat Cajun Place.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rate you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-708-3092. 800-708-3092. 800-708-3092. That's 800-708-3092.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking
with the first pick.
This is the last ball you got in the bag.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros, interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Wednesday morning. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. As always, 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. All the way down there along the Forgotten Coast. You can watch and listen on our social channels. That's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just search it up, ESPN Northwest Florida. Give it a like, give it a follow, give it a subscribe. Whatever you do on Twitch, I'm guessing that's subscribe too. So lots of action verbs there that you can do with our social channels. Of course, you can download our free mobile app. You probably already do, but if you don't, you want to make sure you have that. It is right there in the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. 104.3 is all you got to search up to find it. And of course, you can always head over to ESPNPC.com. There's a listen live button on there as well. But if you scroll down and you want to stop spending so much money on your television experience, you can download KHS TV for a mere $40 a month, $120 a quarter, $240 a half year, and a big only $480 a year for literally every sporting channel that you could possibly want to watch. Pretty fantastic stuff there. Again, that's KHS TV. We watch it here in studio, and we can literally watch whatever we want to watch when I turn the TV on. Thankfully, I did turn on the TV this morning, so it's up and running as we speak. All right. I'm on the radio. We have a platform, although our reach is not really big, but I've got to keep pushing this storm thing. And if you don't want to listen to it, don't listen to it. But the more posts I read, the more people I talk to, the more stuff that's going on. Obviously, in North Carolina, in the area we used to live, the Aiken, Augusta area, just absolute devastation. But of course, up there in the western mountains of North Carolina, things are just dire and only getting worse day by day. And we're learning a lot more as time goes by. So my job, I've told a lot of people, I'm just going to keep sharing stuff. I'm going to keep spreading information about what's going on, and it's going to pivot into something that Mid-South Lumber is currently doing right now as well. But this is a post I saw this morning, and I'm just going to go ahead and read it. I'm not even close to be able to begin to tell the story of the last 5 days in Swannanoa. What I will say is What I will say to people who are not in the hardest hit areas of Western North Carolina is there are still huge gaps in communication, and many of the worst things that have happened have probably not been reported or even understood yet. People are sharing firsthand account in person or by text that make it clear to me that there are still many, many fatalities that have not yet been discovered or confirmed. I've personally spoken to people who have dug living and dead people out of a mudslide, seen their neighbors swept away by water, and seen bodies that haven't been able to be recovered. We have heard stories from Montreat, Grovemont, Beacon Village, Botany Woods. These are areas miles apart from each other, and each place really different from the others. A child told me he saw 3 houses slide down a slope into his neighborhood. Friends had to claw their way to safety while their 7-year-old, or with their 7-year-old, while their neighbors died in the river below them. And that's only what we've managed to glean about in places here in the Swannanoa Valley from communicating with people we know and are directly encountering. It looks like there are other multiple parts of the region horribly hit hard. Marshall, Chimney Rock, there's nothing there in quotation marks. Silo, maybe. Places they haven't reached in Transylvania County. Haywood, so many roads blown out and who knows what's on the other side. My sister and I each heard from nurse friends who have been working in different hospitals 50 miles apart that it's like a war zone. The internet connections have returned. As the internet connections have returned, we are seeing pictures of whole neighborhoods submerged, no doubt with their residents in their homes. We don't even begin to know the full extent of this yet. Western North Carolina is full of creeks, rivers, gullies, and all manners of flowing water. Roads and neighborhoods are often called Blank Creek, Hawk Creek, Bent Creek, Garin Creek, Gap Creek, to name a few, in Buncombe County. Communities are often named after the river that flows through them, like South Toe in Yancey or Takasigi in Jackson County. We have hollers and steep coves. We have steep terrain and windy 2-lane or 1-lane road. Here, many people live in trailers. Houses and trailers often down at the end of a road or tucked into a cove in a neighborhood along a creek or river or down at the bottom of a valley or a slope. Towns were built along rivers, neighborhoods tucked in here, as there are towns and communities. Realtor highlight Bold Creek in home listings as a selling point. Trailer parks are often near creeks or rivers, and many houses and roads are near streams, creeks, and rivers. Sometimes things flood here. Certainly we've had our share of flood struggles during the 15 years I lived on a small farm in the River Valley, but this event was nothing we'd ever thought possible. Our neighborhood and the whole Swannanoa Valley is in a purple zone of this map. The Post has a map where it shows a large area that's in purple, which where the chance of getting this amount of rainfall in 48 hours was once in 1,000 years, which maybe just means no one's ever seen anything like that, and there's no precedent in history. Streets, neighborhoods, places have been wiped off the map. People had no chance to escape. Schools are closed indefinitely. People aren't even close to being able to go to work. We are focused on food, water, medication, transportation, hygiene, who is alive, who is missing, who is dead. I feel like we are very much still in triage, and cleanup hasn't even really begun. Please keep paying attention and drawing attention if you are not from here. This is going to be a long haul. I am so profoundly grateful for community and the way people are showing up for each other here. How can we find a way through this unfathomable experience?
Wow.
Yeah.
And really
this is just one of many of these posts you just continue to see out of that area up there in Western Carolina. Obviously, a lot of other areas hit devastatingly hard as well. But, man, it's just, I just continue to kind of fall back into what's going on up there. Obviously, we're down here. We've been through, some devastation before in our area. And I'm not saying to the coast, but just these people had no idea what was coming, and just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. I know there's a lot of people doing some stuff down here, and I walked into the studio this morning and saw this paper right here on my seat. And Mid-South Lumber has partnered with Fox Monroe Homes to collect hurricane supplies for the North Carolina flood victims. Any donation helps. They will be collecting through this Friday, October 4th, and will coordinate it to get it on a truck that is headed to that region. Donations can be made at both Mid-South Lumber locations. A lot of other opportunities as well, of course, to help out. But, man, it just, we were talking a little bit before the show, David, and it's just, whatever's going on in your life, man, there's always somebody that, in this case, could have it, a million times worse. And, I don't know. It's just, I feel a responsibility. There's not a whole lot we could do, but we can keep spreading the word and keeping it in the attention of everybody. I know we don't have a big reach, but it's a reach nonetheless. So it's what I'm going to continue doing.
I remember when Hurricane Mike, obviously we're 8 days away from the 6-year anniversary of Hurricane Michael, and I remember when it first hit, and we had so much help coming in so soon. It was almost instantly, like bags of ice, tarps, all that kind of good stuff, and so appreciative of that. And then I would just see people on Facebook, because I was luckily one of the ones to still have phone service. And so whenever I wasn't, like at the end of the night, after we're done cutting down trees and putting up awnings and all of that good stuff, seeing people complain about the fact that it's not in national news anymore. And to some extent, I'm like, okay, I get your complaint, but what does it matter at the end of the day? Like, look how much help that we have here. Yeah. So what I'm getting at is thank you for continuing to use the platform that you have to spread the awareness to the constituents of Panama City and all of our other smaller cities here that conglomerate to make up Panama City. Yeah. And who knows who else is listening on Facebook, YouTube, because it is important. The national media is going to have their
agenda.
Agenda is a great word right there. At the end of the day, though, people we're responsible for each other.
Absolutely.
That's like the whole point of community. And so, we're a ways away. And at this point in time, too, I'd also like to point everyone's attention to Boston Tim, who is down in Lakeland and Lakeland or Lake City. I can't remember exactly which one it was. He was going down there to help with debris cleanup and had a 40-foot oak fall on his head, fractured his ankle, split his dome open, lost some teeth, had surgery this morning. Victoria, his beautiful wife, is down there with him now. Just please keep him in your thoughts and prayers, because he was going down there to help other people, help other individuals. And that's just sometimes the sacrifice that comes along with it. And again, I would like to thank you, Ryan, for continuing to do what you do in such a professional manner. And you wouldn't do that unless you cared. And to me, that means a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. And as we were speaking, our friend, that they live up there in the mountains, they're okay. Their house is okay, where they were, but all around them. And she just said, thank you. The true magnate of this storm damage and devastation is left our area is definitely not being shared. There are so many more deaths, so many still missing, which is not being shown by media. I just hope that, and that's the thing about that area. There's a lot of spots. There's only one way in and one way out. And they've got I don't know. But yeah, Boston Tim, man, thanks for doing what you did. And hopefully, he sounds like, I know he sent you a text earlier, sounds like he's in good spirits, but that's just one of those things you go, man, poor guy that, trying to do the right thing and then gets nailed by a tree. Whew.
He's just, man,
Just a good dude.
Told him this, just a few minutes ago. He's one of, my dad and my papa are two of the biggest influences in my life, and it was my papa's 88th birthday yesterday. But Boston Tim is right up there with them, man. Like from the moment I met that guy, me and Greg Calvert, I believe it was me and Greg Calvert. We went out there to a Beat Down at the Beach event. I don't even know if it was, they were getting ready for an event because I was playing softball. So I went out there to help Greg do some interviews real quick and then went right back to softball. I was just a sweaty mess out there. And then next thing you know, we're creating this relationship because he's coming on the show with us. And then even after, life started coming at him and he had, other obligations to take care of. And it just the friend that he's been to me through some of the biggest needs in my life. Now I get the opportunity, hopefully, when he gets back, and we're going to start it Sunday at 5 o'clock because I'm going to be giving him my money playing some poker, baby.
There you go. I like that. He had to get back to that.
Yeah. He got the mindset of that guy, man. If 50% of Americans let's get off of that. Humans, individual, 50% of people had Boston Tim's mindset, we would be, and for those of you who don't know, I'm talking about Tim Vermette. So go down to Mr. Eddie's and get your haircut there to support the family, and go check out Pineapple Willie's as well, because he essentially runs that place. If 50% of people in this world had the mindset and the motivation and just the embodiment, the epitome of what a human being should be, this world would be in a better place.
No doubt about that. And hopefully, all we can do is pray each day that things will continue to get better and better. And just the sense of community is everything. And these events. I was talking to somebody from the Augusta area earlier, and she's obviously going through a lot, but at the same time, she's like, there's just people that everybody's just putting everything aside and just working towards one goal, and that's to get everything better for their community, for the person next to them, for their neighbors, for their friends, for people they don't even know. And that's just that's what our society was founded on, and hopefully we can get back to that at some point and not have to have natural disasters be the case.
Yeah.
I'm a pivot away from that, but don't be surprised if you don't hear it the rest of the week as well. But we had some news here for Bay County Athletics, as we had our first NIL deal for high school get inked.
It better be Locavia Jackson.
Well, it's not. It's not. It's Arnold Pitcher and Florida Gators
that makes sense.
Eli Blair. He's inked Bay County's first NIL deal. History, this is from the newsherald.com. I know Angie Bomadella's been doing a great job on your show, really reporting a lot of local sports here. But history has been made as Arnold star pitcher Eli Blair became the first athlete to sign an NIL deal in Bay County. The Florida commit signed a contract with Maven Baseball Lab, granting him free nationwide access to state-of-the-art facilities and personal one-on-one sessions with former major and minor league players.
This is the epitome of what name, image, likeness is all about. So they can now use your name, image, and likeness, Eli Blair, and for that, the payment is going to be, now you can get better at baseball and save yourself and your parents a lot of money. Yep. We've got some other, when you talk about baseball across the board here, I wouldn't be surprised that that's the sport that blows up when it comes to NIL. And but listen, ladies and gentlemen, you got a few players over there at Mosley, and one of those being Locavian Jackson, Raiden Bruins, Sammy Freitas as well, Jack Massey. I mean, the list goes on and on. You got JT Bowden over there.
You can start a collective for him, and you could be the manager of the collective.
I've thought about that, but I just feel like that would be so slimy. You know?
Yeah.
That's where it's like, okay, because I don't... It would be one thing.
And I was half joking.
Yeah,
the collective's a little bit different.
I have thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about, like, all right, well, let's maybe not a collective for Mosley, but like a be like a manager.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the thing is that's their parents and them
they're minors,
business.
yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And it just seems slimy, and I don't like to be grimy.
So is Ryan Williams? Is his parents the ones dealing
Can we
with?
play the clip? No.
Yeah, is his parents the ones dealing with his NIL deal? He's a minor. He's a minor.
Let's not dive into that one, man. He might have been emancipated or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but I do know his value has basically doubled since that game. But real quick, a couple things. Jay is going to be here today. He said he's 1 minute late thus far, but
minute and a half.
Minute.
I'm counting.
We're going close. Yeah, you got the seconds on yours. They did reveal the cause of death in Pete Rose's when he passed away Monday late. It was due to heart disease is the reason why Pete Rose passed away. So
okay,
I know we talked about it yesterday, so just wanted to kind of lock in on that one. We'll get Jay's tip of the week and the match update from yesterday in the next segment. We will talk about the baseball playoffs, man.
Exactly what we expected outside of the overhitting, right?
Yeah, exactly outside of the expected hit. The Mets continue to do what they're doing, and I think the same situation happened, I believe, yesterday in that game where Milwaukee's pitcher was doing well, and then he got pulled, and the Mets scored 5 runs, I think, in the 5th inning or something along those lines. I think.
Real quick, though, Ryan Warren brings up a great point, and I think that the words that we were using were kind of maybe used a little loosely there. Pretty sure no collectives.
Yeah, no, yeah,
FHSAA.
no.
We weren't even talking about doing that on the behalf of a school, but I mean, I'm not going to be surprised when agents do step into this and are representing high school athletes. But coaches, schools, they're not allowed in this at all. It has to be the athlete and the parents. That's the legality.
That's why I said I was half joking of that one. I just kind of.
But I'm being full honest when I was saying like I have thought about like.
Well, and that's not necessarily a collective. No. That's more just you're helping multiple kids get endorsement or NIL deals, and then
instead of me getting any money from them, I'm gonna be like, now you can sponsor on the afternoon underdogs, not the kid, but the business. Yeah. Now you spot. So we work two deals, kill two birds with one stone,
absolutely.
baby.
People helping people.
Exactly.
That's what we need in this day and age, no doubt about it. But yes, the Mets, the Tigers, Michigan Eddie literally called that on the air yesterday. He told us, he said, hey, I feel good about this. I'm here. Detroit's going to win this thing. And boy, did they look good in game one. I think, a 4-0 shutout in that one?
Oh, for the Tigers Stros?
Yeah.
It was, ended up being 3-1.
3-1, okay. I know, I was watching that a little bit there. The Mets ended up beating the Brewers 8-4 on the heels of that 5-run fifth inning. The Orioles with a 1-0, the Royals with a 1-0 victory. Orioles couldn't get the bats going. Great pitching performance there. I think Bobby Witt drove in the only run in that game. And then unfortunately, kind of what we saw happening, the Atlanta Braves without Chris Sale on the mound, just they couldn't get the bats going. And that home run there by Tatis Jr. was a killer. That's for sure. Obviously, it was only up a couple at that point, but Braves Padres dominated that game, and now the Braves are in a do or die situation.
It's like you watch great playoff baseball, and then here's the Braves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, but it's kind of one of those things that go with how the season's been going, and we'll see though. You bounce back tonight, now you get an opportunity on Thursday. If not tonight, your season is over. So
yep, absolutely, do or die. You got to leave all the chips. The only issue is the bullpen is having to play that doubleheader. Just certainly put them at a disadvantage by losing the first game. Had they won that first game, maybe in a little bit different position there with their pitching staff. But again, not having Chris Sale available for this playoff series is tough.
Hurts, don't it?
Hurts, don't it? Indeed. Astros Tigers. That's 1:30 on ABC, and then you got the Royals.
The Royal series.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You can sit down, Jay. Okay, you remember where to go? All right.
Hey, just plug it into your GPS, Jay.
Yeah, there you go. Take 3 steps forward. Pull out chair. Sit down. Oh, you had time to go to Burger King before the show,
That's
why
11:15
minutes? Didn't even bring us anything. I see how it is.
I'm watching my figure. It's okay.
There you go. You don't want any Burger. I didn't want any Burger King anyway. I appreciate it.
This was earlier. This was way earlier.
It does look a little sweaty, like that cup, like all the ice is melted.
I do like BK, though.
Have it your way?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
That's my favorite part about it.
You can just tell them what you want. Most places you can do that, though. But the Royals and the Orioles play at 3:30. That'll be on ESPN. And then the Mets and Brewers, 6:30 on ESPN. And then the nightcap, the Braves and the Padres on ESPN2 and right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I was listening to Dan Patrick before the show started. He didn't know that those 2 early games were on ABC either. So I was not the only one not in the know in that situation.
I'm going to give a free plug here. Now, we talk about Hard Rock a lot being a wonderful app. My favorite sports, I used to love the ESPN app, right?
Yeah.
My favorite sports app has become CBS Sports app.
Ooh.
And there's a reason why. Not only do you get all the spreads and all of that stuff, but it gives you, so if you go click on a game, you can go look at tweets that are
relevant
connected
to the game.
with the game. You can look at how, what the odds were, what the bet opened at, what it closed at, where the public was at. There's just so many options. Like, honestly, if I just wanted to sit up here and read stats all day, I could do a 2-hour show just going through the CBS Sports app after a Saturday.
There you go. Little plug there. Shameless plug, nonetheless. You're not getting anything back for it. Little breaking news.
It's a free app. So.
It is. Most of them are. Even the ESPN app, Jay.
Yeah.
104.3. breaking news, and this may fly into our topic here in the next segment, but Brandon Cooks looks like he's out week 5. He has developed an infection in his knee. That literally leaves CeeDee Lamb and I don't know who else. You're listening to The Inside Drive. When we get back, we're going to hear about the match yesterday and then Jay Henley's tip of the week. He thinks he can get away from it, but he can't. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Touchdown, Denver!
We bring you the biggest games every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night.
Oh, he's got the first down!
Plus, we'll broadcast more college football games than ever before.
He did what?
Live NFL and college football play here.
Unbelievable!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Sunshine this afternoon and evening with a light breeze at 6 miles per hour out of the northwest, and look for the high to be 88. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 73. Partly sunny most of the day aside from a slight chance of rain in the afternoon and evening tomorrow with a high of 84. This weather is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
The only place to get sports betting coverage on the radio. Is this legal? Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. All is right in the world. Jay Henley's back in his chair, looking mighty fine. Mighty fine,
Thank
my
you,
friend.
Ryan.
My
Thank
friend.
you, Ryan.
All right, let's talk about it. You had a big match yesterday. Apparently, it took you away from the show. A lot going on. You had to prep, a little pregame meal, pregame speech, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
What ended up happening?
What was a pregame meal for golf? I'm really interested.
Sarcasm.
In this. Oh.
But maybe they did. Maybe they did. I don't know. You gotta. You walk in golf.
Yeah, you do.
Requires stamina and carbs and fitness.
Balance is key, and if you lose your balance a little bit, if your sugar's off or whatever it may be,
no doubt.
You got to be
hydration.
Tight.
You got to hydrate the night before. It's not right before; it's the night before.
That's right.
That's how it works.
That's right.
But he has 6 teams in yesterday's match.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the event.
I didn't know we had 6 teams in the county. That's fantastic.
Yeah, when you add Rutherford to the mix, that is
Arnold, Mosley Bay, Rutherford, North Bay Haven, and Bozeman.
And Bozeman, that's right. Yeah, so the whole entire Bay County out of Bay Point yesterday.
That's good stuff.
Kind of looking at the team leaderboard, obviously Mosley come in, and look, Lucas Monk shoots a 32 on the front side at Bay Point yesterday.
Wow, taking after his dad.
That is unbelievable.
32 on the front?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And of course
4 under?
Yeah, it's 4 under. And I can see it on the backside, but the front side, man, that's tough front side.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Playing from the twos?
Playing from the twos.
Dang, that's good golf.
Of course, my FHSAA app is currently not working.
How come golf's got to be different?
I don't know.
How come golf's got to have their own thing that I don't have access to?
Yeah, I think you pay $19.99 for the year to
shenanigans.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just gonna check out Benji, and hopefully he was he out there at the match yesterday.
Who's that?
Benji. I keep wanting to say Badabuke, but it's not.
No, I didn't see Benji.
Banji Bomadella.
Bomadella. It's a great name, regardless.
It is a great
Banji
name.
Bomadella.
And that dude is a big fella.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. He looks like he could still be playing college football.
I like
He kind
it.
of reminds me of Alan Sandage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or as Jay calls him, Mr. T.
Mr. T.
Mr. T. He does. He does.
pity the fool.
I pity the fool.
You're hitting a lot of things on your screen there.
It's not
We're
working.
getting a lot of.
Anyways, to sum it up, I mean, Mosley played great
you
yesterday.
get a 32 right off, and he's not even their. Is he their number one?
No, he played number 3 yesterday.
Your number 3 guy goes out and shoots 4 under.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're playing. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough.
Ethan McGregor came out with a smooth 34.
Oof.
He led the Arnold Marlins to.
I tell you what, if I tee off and shoot 2 under par in 9 holes, I'm thinking I'm going to be at least a medalist for that 9-hole match.
I would think so.
But man,
yeah.
Congrats to Lucas Monk. So Mosley won the match?
They did, and look, no excuses here, but I had an injury yesterday.
Whoa!
I know,
an injury report.
An
in high
injury
school
report.
golf.
Yes,
let's hear it.
Got a phone call about hole 5 in my
a mid-match injury.
Mid-match injury. The index finger of Brady Lent's left finger, his index finger, had a huge. What do you call it?
Callus, blister?
Yeah, blister.
Ooh.
And so he continued on. Shot a 44 yesterday, which I know that's un-Brady-like.
That's very un-Brady-like.
But he hung in there, and the rest of the team shot 44 as well. I think shout out to Gage Williams. He shot 39 yesterday.
Nice.
So he played number 3, and shoot 39. That's great.
I blame the injury on the coach.
Yeah, well,
lack of conditioning and taking care of your players.
I take a little bit of credit to that. I will, because the boys did get out a little bit early yesterday, and they were hitting more golf balls than usual. So it was a very live and learn type scenario for the team yesterday.
Well, and calluses or blisters, I should say. Once you get calluses are part of the game of golf, right. If you play golf and you play golf often, you're going to have calluses. It's just the nature of it, whether you wear a glove or not. And sometimes if the glove maybe doesn't fit exactly right or something like that, you can get that wear. And that's a tough, because that's where you're either, I don't know what kind of grip he has, but I'm going to guess he's an interlocking grip.
Yeah,
that's just going to be tough, because that area is rubbing on the your ring finger on your right hand, and when you're feeling that coming through, that's tough.
It is,
and I'm not making light of that. That's a real thing.
It is a real
blisters
thing.
on your hands in golf are no bueno.
And yeah, I mean, it's the only part of the body holding the club. It's important.
It's very true.
Very important.
Very true. Your hands are your connection to the golf.
That's right.
No doubt about that.
But hey, we're gonna punt this week, and we're gonna go to Rocky Bayou Monday.
So you won't be here Monday.
We'll not be here Monday. It's an 18-hole match. I would think all of the Panhandle is going to be at Rocky Bayou Monday, so that's going to be a huge match over there. I know Bay's making the trip over.
Gotcha. So big tournament, essentially.
Huge tournament.
Nice.
Huge.
And it's isn't it named after a newspaper or something like that?
Now, I don't know about this one. There's one that we're not participating in this year, but it's over at the Air Force Base. I believe.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of. I think that one's like I forget.
AC Reed.
Yeah, AC Reed. And it's like the Northwest Florida something or other, something like that. But yeah, no, that'll be good. You got to get an 18-hole match or an 18-hole tournament in before you start approaching the county tournament, then districts, then regionals. Is Mosley in your same district when it comes to golf? Do you know that?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So to give you a little bit of backstory here, so Arnold is ranked number 1 in the district right now in golf.
Oh.
And I was looking at the state. Right now, Arnold is ranked 115th in the state.
Wow.
And then Mosley's ranked about 128th, I believe.
Two good programs right here in Bay County.
Yeah, I mean, and your top 10 are Ponte Vedra, West Palm Beach, Jupiter, Florida.
You think of the amount of high schools and golf teams, and you just go from Jacksonville down.
Yeah.
It's like golf courses.
Right.
There's an astronomical number of golf courses in the peninsula of Florida, and in turn there's an astronomical number of high schools in the peninsula of Florida that have golf teams.
Yeah.
That obviously in Florida you got an opportunity to play year round versus Northeast, Midwest, stuff like that. So but yeah, Yeah, hey, it's good to see two strong golf programs kind of pushing each other.
Yes.
We got to have somebody represent the state. I don't think we've had a team. I think Mosley a couple years ago went when prior to Noah Zedeker and those guys graduating on, and obviously Noah went on to have a fantastic college golf career.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to get a whole. We've had individuals go down there based on their performances in the regional, but we got to have some whole teams, and I'd love to have both Arnold and Mosley playing, because they take the top two from the district
to go to regional,
and then top two from the regional go to the states.
Yep.
Okay, so hey, Mosley and Arnold all the way up.
And I don't talk about the girls golf team enough. A shout out to Zayna September.
Oh, she's a baller.
She shot 34 at Panama Country Club yesterday. She was definitely low medalist over there. So congratulations to Zayna. And then secondly, let's don't forget about North Bayhaven. North Bayhaven boys golf team is strong. They've been in, kind of sitting in third place all year. But Jackson Tiano, Tyler Baber, those kids are playing phenomenal golf. I wouldn't be surprised to see them potentially win a match or two going into the end of the season.
Yeah, and they might be in a different district on the golf side of things.
I think Bay, Mosley, and Arnold are all in one district, and then I want to say Bozeman and North Bayhaven are in a separate district. So they'll be in. I think they're 1A. We're 2A.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
and every sport's different, so it's kind of hard to keep track of and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But hey, let's let that bleed into what your tip of the week is going to be this week, and I'm just going to go ahead and ask you it because I don't want to put too much pressure on you today.
It's Jay's golf tip of the week.
So you were saying, that you might have taken a little blame because the kids were hitting maybe too many balls before the match.
Yeah.
Putting a little extra pressure on whatever blister started to form. But what would you, when you're going to play a competitive round of golf, whether it's high school, whether it's, amateur, professional, when you go to the range, is the range meant prior to your round, of course, in a competitive round? Is the range meant for a warm-up session, or is the range meant to fix whatever's going on?
I'm sorry.
I know you got distracted by a phone. You want to answer it? You want me to answer it?
That's the Mosley golf coach. So
there you go.
We might get
there you go. 850-215-6290, Scott.
I probably said something wrong and he's listening, so most likely.
Yeah. Lucas, maybe you want to talk about Lucas? Hey, give us a call, Scott. Don't call him. Call the station.
All right, so back up first.
So I was saying you were talking about the blister and maybe they hit too many balls prior to the match.
Yeah.
When you're playing competitive golf, whatever level it is, when you go to the range before your round, is that designed to fix whatever issues you may have going on, or is that designed to just warm up for the round of golf?
Yeah, it's warm up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
100%, right?
Yeah, you're not trying to fix anything. You're trying to clear more of your thoughts than anything.
And just get loose and get that tempo, get that rhythm and balance.
That's it.
That's one of those things you just see it a lot. You see people go to the range prior to their round. It's like, I was hitting the ball bad on the range, so I'm gonna play bad today.
Yeah.
Well, treat the range as a warm up, not what it's not an indicator of what you're gonna do on the golf course that day. If you treat it that way, it could likely happen that it'll be that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just, it's a warm-up session. Now, you work on your game when you're practicing or you're getting lessons.
Yeah.
Now, when you get a lesson, you have to reinforce that with practice.
Right.
If you just get lessons and don't practice, we say that all the time. It's like, if I want to learn how to play the piano and I get a lesson and then never play the piano in between the next lesson, I'm not going to get any better.
That's right.
Same thing with golf. Same thing with golf.
Well, and you may have a bugaboo hole out there.
There it is.
I love using it. Yes, I know.
Bugaboo. Coming up top of the hour,
yes,
too.
sir. But there's a bugaboo hole. It may be hole 4. It may be hole 7. You can use your mind and create this blank canvas on the driving range and recreate that on the driving range and kind of prepare yourself for that upcoming hole.
Yeah.
Think about your bugaboo out there. You may have a bugaboo hole, and I'll say bugaboo one more time.
That was like 5 times in 30 seconds. Good stuff. But it's great to see high school golf alive and well here in Bay County, and as quickly as it comes, here we are in October, and by the end of this month, it'll likely be over. Hopefully we'll be playing. Is it early November for state finals down there in Howie at the Hills?
Yeah, I think you're looking at week 1 for regional, and then week 2 of November it'll be state tournament.
Right there, right around Halloween.
Yeah, would be cool to go down there and play against Charlie Woods. That would be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Probably not the same. same category because I'm assuming he's in Palm Beach Gardens, something like that.
I thought he was Jupiter. But,
oh yeah, well yeah. Jupe Life. It's where all the rich.
Mars.
Could have been Uranus.
How the other half lived.
Oh
Ryan.
yeah, the other half lives indeed. That is it's a different ball game.
I drank my Mountain Dew with my pinky up, baby.
Roll Tide.
Yes, sir.
Oh goodness. Your Braves going to stave off elimination tonight, Jay?
I couldn't watch it last night. I had to turn it. I was so devastated after the 5th or 6th inning. I was like, they're not coming back. But hey, we get game 2 tonight. What, 8:36 first pitch?
7:38.
7:38. Okay.
First pitch right there on the ESPN 2.
The ESPN, yes.
And right here on the ESPN Northwest Florida.
Yes, sir.
You got to have that mobile app if you want to listen to it, if you're not in your car, or you want to listen on Facebook.
They have to be just so exhausted.
I would think.
Good gracious. But maybe they make the trip back to Atlanta to play ball instead of, sleep in their own bed.
The Mets, though, they had a doubleheader as well. Now, I will say, though, for the Braves, they had a doubleheader. Then they had to head out west.
Yeah.
Whereas for the Mets, they just had to go to Milwaukee, which is still westward.
Yeah, but not all the way across the country.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the nightcap. But man, like you were saying yesterday, the Padres are playing fantastic baseball right now. Saw a few of the City Connect jerseys out there. Almost threw on the Padres City Connect jersey just for ha-has because of the youth baseball.
For bets and giggles?
For bets and giggles. For bets and giggles. Ha ha ha. Although I was trying to use reverse psychology on the Braves, and me and another listener put you could bet the exact series and how it goes. Like you could go like Braves, Padres, Braves, Padres, Braves, Braves.
You almost had a song like John Jacob Jingle.
Yeah, right.
But I bet the Padres to win in 2 straight games, hopefully to try to use reverse psychology on the Braves. And so far, it hasn't happened, but maybe tonight. And that's why I was going to be happy one way or the other.
See, it's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
See,
But unless you didn't bet on them, then it's just a lose-lose.
Right.
But hey, I much more hope that they win, and I don't want to win that bet.
Oh, yeah.
However, if they lose, it's a little small silver lining for me there.
Right.
Yeah. But
we'll see. I'll watch the game tonight. You guys watching?
Yeah, we'll try. We watched it all the way through last night. Just hoping those bats would get going at some point, but they just never happened.
Nope.
Ugh. And it's so quick, too. It's boom. Season ends, 3-game series. You can play 2 games and you're done.
Yeah.
But you made it there. And that's half the battle.
I mean, we talked about it, Monday? I mean, can you imagine the exhaustion that they've had? I mean, 160, 3 games.
Yeah, you're going to say some of these guys that don't see any
God.
time, that are always in the bullpen and stuff like that, they're like, can we just get this thing over with?
Right. I mean,
I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to relax.
You would think a majority of them would be, like, hey, let's make the World Series. But
I would imagine the competitiveness that these guys have, rolls through that. But hey, you never know. Those thoughts may creep in your mind.
Right.
We could end up with as good as the Mets are playing right now. I mean, if they can find a way to, they would play the Dodgers in the NLCS if they kept advancing. We could end up having a Subway Series again.
Hey.
Like back in the day.
Because they were struggling back a few years ago. That whole New York, everybody.
The Mets were struggling last year.
Yankees,
What a beautiful time.
Yeah. One day we'll go back to it. Or we'll advance to it. One or the other. But for now, we got to go ahead and take a quick break. You're listening to The Inside Drive. Jay Henley, David Hayes, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to go under the lights? Mosley Dolphin football is back. ESPN Northwest Florida brings you live play-by-play coverage all season long. With David Hayes.
Touchdown, Mosley Dolphins!
And Kyle Wright.
And the interception turns into points for the Mosley offense.
The Mosley Dolphins take on rivals Niceville, Rutherford, and the Bay Tornadoes. Exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
The 2024 Central Panhandle Fair in Bay County is in full swing. Bring the whole neighborhood with you for fun. Delicious foods, arts and crafts, nightly exhibits, livestock, and a lot more. Gates and rides open at 6 p.m. Just $20 per admittance. The Central Panhandle Fair in Bay County, corner of Sherman and 15th in Panama City. Don't miss it.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
If you're not scanning while the cashier is begging, we're judging you a little.
Why am I working at the grocery store now?
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios at ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Whew. Boston Tim, you are in our thoughts and prayers. And of course, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the whole North Carolina situation. Just got another message from our friend up there. And bad. But we'll keep talking sports. We'll keep probably keep reporting stuff in the beginning of each show this week. Because like I said earlier, I'm not going to let this thing go by the wayside. If I can control something, that'll be it. So if you get tired of it, just I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it.
That's it.
It's our show, Jay. We can do what we want, right?
Send a complaint to our HR department.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Whew. Yeah, I almost want to, like, substations of power just completely gone. Like, hospitals, no water. It just bad. Over 3,000 missing. Just awful stuff. Awful stuff. I couldn't imagine. But we're going to talk about trades in the NFL. Or pivot to that, Jay. Davante Adams has officially requested a trade, and where do you think he's going to go?
Where is Davante Adams?
He's a Raider.
Going? Oh, is he?
He doesn't want to be a Raider anymore.
Huh.
I want to know where you think he's going to go.
Let's go. He wants to go to the East Coast. Let's say Baltimore.
Baltimore. That would be
honestly. That was one. I don't think that he would go. That the Raiders would send him there, but could you imagine how much more lethal that offense becomes with a guy like Davante Adams? I don't care where
your
he goes.
RPOs would be stupid.
There's 30 other teams in the NFL, obviously one being the Raiders because he wants to be traded from them. There's one other team in the league I don't want to see him to go to. As long as he doesn't go to Kansas City, it's all good because he ain't coming to the Titans. Come on, let's be real. Nobody wants to catch a ball covered in mayonnaise
or covered in a helmet. I don't know what Mason or in red-nosed reindeer. Mason Rudolph.
That's right.
That's all I got.
Yeah,
that's all I got. I just would hope, and Allen posted this yesterday, that the Raiders would not trade Davante Adams to a team in their division. I don't know. Maybe they would, but that would just be like sacrilegious at this point. But he's likened, obviously, potentially going to Pittsburgh. Another team that's emerged that apparently has reached out is the Dallas Cowboys. And that's why I mentioned before with Brandon Cooks having a knee infection, just out week 5. But really, it's CeeDee Lamb, and that's kind of it over there in Dallas right now. So does Dallas have the trade capital? Reportedly that the Raiders are looking for a second-round and some compensation as well. But I think Davante Adams, does he want to go to a place where, he could help them be a contender? Or, does he go to the Jets and be reunited with Aaron Rodgers where he's, he started his career up there in Green Bay? I don't know.
Why is he wanting to leave?
He's just tired of being on. When we talked about this yesterday, so when he went to the Raiders, he went there because of Derek Carr. They played college football together, and then Derek Carr obviously left and went to the Saints 2 years ago, and then Davante's kind of just left hanging out with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Those are the two teams on his wish list: are the Saints and the Jets.
Yeah, yep. But
I would love to see him on the Saints. That would be cool for this area, man. DCP would be popping.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. And honestly, the Saints could certainly use them. That is for sure. But yeah, we'll keep you posted on the Davante Adams trade saga. Hopefully, if you have him on your fantasy team and he ends up going somewhere where he can get a little more action, that may be a good thing. But a couple news updates here on the NFL side of things. Tua Tagovailoa is now symptom-free and could start Week 8 for the Dolphins after a concussion. So 5, 6, 7, 3 more weeks without Tua, and then he might be coming back there in Week 8. Jay, the state of your Dolphins is dismal.
Yes.
They could be one of the worst teams in the NFL right now without Tua at the helm.
I agree with that.
So what Falcons are doing better. Buffalo looks fantastic.
They look good.
And now you're with the Dolphins, and they suck.
That's everywhere I go.
Football-wise, yeah. Football team-wise.
Trouble seems to follow.
And Georgia lost this weekend.
Yeah. Dang.
It's all right. They'll win this weekend.
Who do
Auburn.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
The oldest rivalry in the South.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one up there.
Hopefully it's not too one-sided.
We'll see.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
We know that way that rivalry works, right?
Yeah, the away team wins it more often.
Sure
but
does.
you got to have a lot more. We have talent, but
Y'all want to make a bet between the two of y'all? We don't got to pay him up, obviously. Right?
clearly Jay still got hair. Yeah. we let your high school team shave it.
Yeah, they would love to.
You'd have to give me like 20 points. Let me see what the spread is. Hold on.
I think it's 14.5. I might be thinking of FSU Clemson.
Ooh, DJU officially out as well. That probably brings much relief to the Florida State fan base, I would guess. Hold on, let me log in with my code to Hard Rock on my computer. I just now realized this week, and not that I didn't realize before, but you can actually, instead of having to look it on my phone, I can look at it on my computer. All right, NCAA football games. Let's see, top 25. Georgia is, ranked 5th now, I believe. Georgia, Auburn. I guess I could. Oh, there it is. 24.
Take Auburn and the points. Take Auburn and the points.
That seems like a good idea, but I could also see Georgia scoring on like their first 6 possessions, and boom, all of a sudden it's 36-0, and then they cover nice and easily. They're plus 24, or Auburn's plus 24, and the over/under is 53. So almost half the spread is in the total points there.
Take it.
Auburn's plus 1,000. To win straight up. Georgia can't lose that game.
No.
24 points.
Yeah. Well, it's like the other day. Like when your 49ers played the Patriots, I think you guys were up so much till Hard Rock had, the Patriots getting 27 at one point. And I'm not a smart man, but 27
I disagree.
27 points. I think that's when you unload.
Did you?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
And it covered.
It's the smartest thing I've done, but betting wise, and
that's what I love about live betting.
Yep.
But it, so this last Sunday night football game, I took the Ravens money line, and then when the Bills go down big, they get 17.5, and I'm like, well, daggum, ain't no way they ain't getting 7. They're not going to finish within 17.5, or they will finish within 17.5. And I took the over, so a little 2-leg parlay, and of course the over hits, but the 17.5, which I was more sure about, does not. And I'm like, daggum, I would have cleaned up on that. Well, for the amount of money that I bet, I would have cleaned up.
Yeah, there you go.
But still, face was dirty after that.
No, and that's one of those things, like, and live betting, like, I'll be watching the game, and Hard Rock's always so far ahead, they'll be watching the game, like, ooh, I need to throw something in there on a live bet, and then they throw those little locks up there, and I'm like, gosh darn it, I just won it, and I keep refreshing it, and they're always ahead of you.
Yeah.
They're always ahead.
What's it say? It says something about unacceptable or something, unacceptable bet.
Do you accept the changes if the line moved or something like that? It's real time. Those algorithms are working strong, that's for certain. But yeah, getting back to some NFL news, your forward team, the Buffalo Bills there, Von Miller has been suspended 4 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. It comes after a domestic violence charge from last year. that bounced around a little bit and eventually raised back up. And here we are. It alleged that Von Miller put his hands on her neck twice and pulled out some of her hair. He also pushed her, which caused her to fall into a chair. At the time, back then they were kind of doing some more investigation, and then this year the NFL declined to place the 8-time Pro Bowler on the commissioner's exempt list as the case was unfolding. And then, of course, he appeared in the Bills' first 4 games, but will now miss the next 4 games for violating the league's conduct policy. As I mentioned as well, Tua is now symptom-free, but still until Week 8, as he was placed on the IR. Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars, with some anonymous players that were interviewed by Warren Sharp. He talked to a few guys in the locker room after the 2 weeks, and they've told him that the locker room is gone regarding Doug Peterson. Absolutely rudderless, which is a great phrase. Rudderless. You got no steering, no direction, no leadership.
Oh, how about that?
So they're without a paddle.
Up a creek.
That movie, right? Isn't there a movie called Without a Paddle?
Yep. Seth Green and all those guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. It's a good one. It's a good one. And then Garrett Wilson's starting to rumble a little bit. You know, Aaron Rodgers doesn't like it when his players are rumbling, but he wants the Jets offense to mix it up a little bit amid their struggles and questions his route tree. He's quoted saying, "I don't think we do a lot of different stuff, to be honest. I watch football on Sundays. You should be playing on Sundays. I watch football on Sundays and see a lot of teams mix it up and stuff like that. I don't think we do that. I think we know our identity. It's just going out and executing and figuring out if it's going to work. I don't think we're trying a lot of different things. I know personally my route tree hasn't been what it's been for the last 2 years as far as the stuff I've been running. It's just about figuring out it's the right identity and whether it's going to win games." It's been a lot of criticism with what's going on right now in Green Bay, and you know Rodgers is still trying to figure it out, all that stuff. Some news as well on Christian McCaffrey. I didn't get to it yesterday, but he has bilateral Achilles tendonitis. I asked one of my friends who's a podiatrist. He said, "Well, Ryan, that means he has tendonitis in both of his Achilles tendons." I was like, "Thanks, doc."
That's what I was kind of thinking. I don't know if that's so. Both of his.
Yep.
So he might actually retire then.
Well, they're supposed to be increasing his workload a little bit as trying to get him back in there. And the doctor I did talk to did say he's kind of surprised that an athlete of his ability and workouts and all that stuff, he must have done something crazy with, he does some pretty wild stuff workout wise. But yeah, kind of unknown right now. Kyle Shanahan said he's hopeful they might be able to get him back in November. But for you fantasy managers out there, if you're looking to make a move, maybe because if he does come back, not just from a pro, but from just a purely fantasy football standpoint, he could end up helping win one of your leagues. But at the same time, if you were smart enough to pull up Jordan Mason, he's no slouch as far as what he's doing in fantasy either. Kind of going a little bit toe to toe with what McCaffrey did last year, minus the 4 touchdown games and stuff like that. But yeah.
The doctor's prescription of that, it sounds like, he's out for eternity. Tom Lehman's, prescription was like, what'd you call it?
Layman's terms.
Yeah, well, I know, but what was it? What would you call it?
I don't know.
Well, you called it something with his foot.
Bilateral.
Oh, the actual what it is? Yeah, bilateral Achilles tendonitis.
And then the layman's terms.
Yeah, he's got tendonitis in both Achilles tendons, which is pretty similar to each of those.
I had to hear that one more time.
Okay. I didn't know what you were getting at, so I apologize. I apologize for that one. But yeah, and it's week 5. Nick Chubb has been activated to practice. Will he play this week? Probably not. It's his first practice in probably a year since he blew out his knee last year. And yeah, pay attention. We'll have Keith coming up here in the next segment to talk about all your DFS action for this week, and a lot of it's I don't know, every year it seems like it's more and more wild. I don't know if it really is. It's just because we're in the thick of it and everything going on, and yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. Davante Adams could be somewhere else here pretty soon, and Cowboys might be a potential suitor for Davante Adams, and that would certainly go a long way. Does he want to go play with Dak? I don't know. I don't know. And David, you said the Jets and the Saints were the two teams Devontae expressed.
Yeah, that was his
interest.
wish list.
Okay.
Yeah, but who knows what ends up happening, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway,
is that an option on Hard Rock? I'll take the Saints for 500, Alex. 500 pennies. Stack them up and count them at the bank, baby.
There you go. Ryan Seacrest era is officially in Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it the other night. It was Ryan.
Is he anything like Pat Sajak?
No, he's Ryan Seacrest.
Okay. All right.
But he does a good job. He does a good job. It's just different.
Vanna's still
They
there.
kind of might look the same whenever they're older.
Yeah,
right?
they could.
Whatever.
They could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vanna's still there.
Okay, good.
Yep, she's still there.
Good.
And I think Pat's daughter takes over for her once she's ready to step aside.
Okay. All right.
But why does Ryan Seacrest get to do all these? Call somebody up from the minors. Bring me up there. I'll call Wheel of Fortune.
No kidding.
I'll just harass the people for making stupid decisions. That's what they don't embrace enough on there.
All right.
Like when somebody guesses a letter that's already been picked, you gotta roast them for that.
That's right.
I don't know. And then when they guess ridiculous things that aren't even close.
Yeah.
Anyway, when we get back, it'll be time for our good friend Keith Fleming to go through all the DFS action so you can win some cash money this week. And of course, if you participate in the Inside Drive weekly contest, that'll be up later on today. You're listening to the Inside Drive. Jay, David, Keith coming up next. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to go under the lights? Mosley Dolphin football is back.
Wide open down the sideline.
ESPN Northwest Florida brings you live play-by-play coverage all season long. With David Hayes.
Touchdown, Mosley Dolphin.
And Kyle Wright.
You take the top off the defense, and the interception turns into points for the Mosley offense.
Exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Sunshine this afternoon and evening with a light breeze at 6 miles per hour out of the northwest, and look for the high to be 88. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 73. Partly sunny most of the day aside from a slight chance of rain in the afternoon and evening tomorrow with a high of 84. This weather is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. Keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's Tasty Oak Smoked Barbecue.
Next in line.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida. Do you suffer from political talk radio fatigue?
We know that under the 99% rate, the U.S. economy is
Tune into the most fun and exciting new radio show on the Gulf Coast. It's The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And we are back. It is officially the afternoon here in the Central Time Zone. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You can watch, listen, like, comment, subscribe, share, follow. That's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Just search it up, ESPN Northwest Florida. You can download the free mobile app. Where, Jay?
Google Play or Apple Store.
Yes, Keith, that is the beautiful voice of Jay Henley in studio with us today. All you got to do is search up 104.3 in those beautiful Apple or Google Play stores, and you can listen to us anywhere you have cell phone service or have a cell phone in your hand. Of course, you can head over to ESPNPC.com as well. Scroll down just a little bit. You'll see the TV channel icon. That is KHS TV. $40 a month. Was $120 a quarter? $280, $560, no, $240, $560, or $480 a year. for as much sporting action and really any channel. If you don't want to watch sports, they got everything else on there too. Goodness gracious. Less than half a C note, and you can get yourself a little KHS TV there, Jay.
That's
ESPN.
$1.31 a day.
Woo, way to put it in perspective for us, my friend. Don't want to $1.31. You could probably find that outside the studio.
Yeah, there's nothing $1.31 these days.
Nah, I go chain scrounging all the time out there. You ain't finding nothing out there in them rocks because I got them first with my metal detector, baby.
Just got to get here before 10:30. That's all. If you do that, you got a good shot. But hey, also got to thank our studio sponsor. That's Bill Kramer, GM, Kramer Marine and Outdoor, right there at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. Lots of new vehicles coming in. The 25s are looking beautiful. Great rates, great deals. Trade-in values still super high. If you want to make something happen, of course, you want that tax write-off. You got a few more months to buy that 24 or buy a new vehicle or a used vehicle. It's just got to be over 6,000 pounds. It's a big incentive if you own your own business, and Bill Kramer can make that easy and take great care of you and lead you in that right direction. Of course, the weather is, looking pretty good here in Bay County now. So if you've got a boat and you need it tuned up, there's only one place to go. That's Kramer Marine and Outdoor. And if it's busted and you want it fixed up, you can give them a call. They'll come out to you and get it back out on the water. And the other thing we mentioned, I think it was yesterday, they do have the ability to sell your boat for you too. If you're just tired, you don't want to have your boat anymore, it's burning a hole in your pocket, they'll take that entire hassle and take it over. Of course, you pay them a small little cut of the seller's fee, but you don't have to deal with the hassle of people not showing up, lowballing you, maybe trying to take advantage of you. Who really knows? And Kramer Marine and Outdoor will make that happen. They sell also, if you're looking for a new one, the family of Seabourn, Spider, Sundance, and Skeeter. You can check out all that new and used inventory at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com. It's Wednesday. Last week he was on with us on Friday, but here we go. Back to normal. Our good friend Keith Fleming. NFL is certainly continuing to be wild week in and week out, and fantasy owners are wanting to know where the heck did the tight ends go, and when am I going to start getting some of my star players back? Keith, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Yeah, we're doing great. Wonderful. Yeah.
That's the most silence I've ever heard Keith ever.
I like that.
I know.
That was on purpose.
I'm 0-4, Jay, in the ESPN Northwest Champions League. Just lost the fourth game to my wife. So,
well, I'm going to give you a pass on that because I feel like you did the gentlemanly thing. You were picking for Brittany, I would have done the same thing. I would have put my wife ahead of myself and picked her a better team than myself. And the Champions League's tough because it was such a deep league with 16 owners drafting in that one. So I'm more looking that as a positive for you being so chivalrous to put your wife above you.
Happy life.
I like that. I'm not holding, I'm holding out hope. I guess you'd say that we're still going to make a run. I've had just a really bad string of injuries, and actually I think the Rashee Rice injury may help me with Travis Kelce, which was by far my worst pick of the draft. I expected him to have one monster season. That has not happened. I think you're going to see a lot of Travis Kelce like you did last week, at least until Rashee Rice comes back. That's if he does. But there are a few things I wanted to talk about before we get into DFS that I've noticed, from this NFL season. The first one is, there's a bigger discussion that needs to be had about just QBs, where they're drafted, who their offensive coordinator is, what their situations are, because I believe so much of this has to do with their success. You look at somebody like Bryce Young, who I think that he just got beat up so bad last year that even this year with a good Panthers O-line, he was gun-shy. And it's going to take some real work, some love, and attention, to get him back to where he could potentially be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And the reason I say that is because maybe we need to reevaluate this 2018 draft class, which, don't get me wrong, there was two studs, and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson taking in the first round. But those, remember, were not the first two QBs off the board. Those quarterbacks were in a situation very similar to our boy Bryce. Not only that, they both spent time with the Carolina Panthers, and of course I'm talking about Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Yep. And if you look at those four QBs of Baker, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, their teams are a combined 12-4 through the first 4 weeks. How ironic that it's Lamar that has the worst record at 2-2 of the four of them. They've combined for 31 passing touchdowns to just 6 interceptions, throwing another 6 rushing touchdowns. All 4 of their offenses are top 10 in the NFL in terms of points per game. 3 of 4 are top 5. And again, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield were written off for dead. Yep. I mean, they were looked at as straight up busts. And that's, again, why I get to, it's not a coincidence that Baker Mayfield goes to Tampa, right? Somewhere that wanted him. Cleveland obviously just let him go. How good would that Cleveland Browns team have been the last 2 years? They'd have just kept Baker
Cleveland
Mayfield.
continues to make stupid decisions year in and year out, unfortunately.
Right?
For your Browns.
And he gets a really good offensive coordinator last year. What I've been so impressed with is, remember, they lost their offensive coordinator from last year. He's got a new one this year, and he's cooking again. And then Sam Darnold is a guy that, again, was just – he wasn't horrible for the Jets, but that was when the Jets were just a mess. They had a bad offensive line, bad coaching. Now he's, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I think arguably the best offensive play caller in the NFL outside of maybe Shanahan and Kevin O'Connell. And everybody thought that the Vikings were doomed when J.J. McCarthy went down. Their top 10 draft pick during the preseason. And now my question is, Sam Darnold's still really young.
Jay, how old is Sam Darnold?
23.
Yeah, so
he's not that young.
He came into the league when he was 16. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He did come into the league when he was 20. He's only 27 years old.
27.
Right?
A young lad.
So, J.J. McCarthy may have missed his window, which, again, this is why the NFL is so wild.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that if Darnold plays this well the rest of the season, do we really think that they're going to go somewhere else, especially if they maybe, make the playoffs, make a little playoff run? I mean, this Minnesota team is arguably the best team in the league. I don't even really think you can make a case for another team. They've got 3 good wins.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense has been really good. Their defense has been amazing. I know things broke down in the second half last week, but that's a tough situation when you get up that big.
Well, and he went for it, on I think it was 4th and goal from like the 4 or something like that.
Yep.
And and you were playing well, so I don't discredit the decision at all. But then the Green Bay goes down and scores a touchdown right after that, and kind of makes it interesting. But they punch that in. It's the score. The score was a lot further apart than the final score ended up being.
Completely agree. But regardless, they beat the Niners, who I think everybody agrees is a good football team. They beat the Texans, who everybody agrees is a good football team.
Jay does.
And I think the Green Bay Packers, with Jordan Love, who obviously played on Sunday, a really good team, even though, ironically, the Packers are 2-0 with Malik Willis starting and 0-2 with Jordan Love starting through 4 games. But, again, it's circumstances, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it's a lot different with the opponents they played.
Matchups are key.
With Malik Willis. Yep, absolutely. So, just let's not, just throw, dirt on these QBs if they get off to a bad start. And we also just need to understand that your circumstances, and this probably goes for all positions, not just QB, has such a huge impact.
No, coaching, what team you're on. Oh, my goodness. Just moral of the story, don't get drafted by the Jets or the Panthers, and you could end up...
Or the Browns.
Yeah.
Or the Patriots.
Or the Patriots worked out a couple times.
Yeah.
Mac Jones he had a Pro Bowl year once.
I think Brady worked out okay.
Yeah, Brady. I don't know. Some guy won 6 Super Bowls, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, Go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
So the next guy I want to talk about is these QBs, and because this is the second year in a row that we have seen a quarterback come into the league and just play at a level we didn't think was possible, I'm having to rethink. I have always been someone who says, don't throw a QB out there immediately. Let them learn. There's a huge difference between college football to NFL. There has to be a lot of things right for it to work out. And again, I think you can get into the Bryce Young type situation that we see where it's just, it goes horribly wrong, and then maybe their confidence is broken. And then next thing you know, a 40-year-old is starting over them in the second year and doing much better than the number 1 pick last year. But Jaden Daniels, can he keep up this pace? Through 4 games, Commanders are 3-1. They scored the 4th most offensive touchdowns in the league. They're averaging over 30 points per game. But since week 1, which they got kind of handled, week 1, no surprise, his first start. Since then, they're 3-0, scoring 33 points per game. To me, what's most impressive, they have now scored On 24 of their last 28 offensive possessions, Daniels 897 passing yards with 3 touchdowns, completing an absurd 82% of his passes. That is the highest 4-game completion percentage in the history of the NFL since the merger. The two that were previously there, Manning in 08 and Brady in 07, if you remember those years, those were historic years for Manning and Brady.
I believe, too, the last 2 starts, his completion percentage being over 85% with a minimum of like 15 passes or something like that. Is the first time ever done by a quarterback in NFL history. One more fun fact, I don't know if you have it or not, but we talked about it earlier. They've got 23 scoring drives so far this year. Jayden Daniels has less incompletions than the team has scoring drives. He's only got 19 incompletions on the year, and they've got 23 scoring drives. And he is a rookie. That is insane to think about. And he's on the Commanders. Go ahead, sorry.
It is. The one thing, that's great stuff. Don't ever hesitate to add that on. You all love stats.
Jay, next time.
The other thing, though, that you got to remember, yeah, right. I don't think we can count on that. But
shade has been thrown.
Hey, Jay's got a lot to offer. I don't know if stats are normally.
Why don't we talk about the players that are playing? What about all the bench players? I mean, why don't we ever talk about the ones on the bench? They're the ones that's always complaining, right? Like, Daddy, can I go out and play?
Is that what they say?
Yeah, Daddy, can I go play?
I don't think that's what they say.
What do you think they say?
I think they just get ready for their opportunity and work hard.
You don't think they complain?
No, you don't make it to the league complaining. Maybe you do. I don't know.
It's hard complaining when even most of the guys on the bench are making a very good living. But,
yeah.
I mean, again, Daniel's just on fire. 46 rush attempts to go along with how well he's been passing it for 218 yards, another 4 scores, averaging 23.7 fantasy points per game. I don't want to say throw cold water on it, but I just want to caution people that the last 2 weeks where a majority of this damage was done, 2 of the worst defenses in the league. Like by PF preseason grade, what you've kind of seen, this Bengals defense is really bad. The Arizona Cardinals defense, really bad. So we will see. You know, I mean, I hope it continues. God, it's just nice when you have players that are this good, this young, especially at the QB position. And I think a lot it needs to be said. Everybody said it was a negative that at his age, right, that he was 23, he had played so much in college. Well, that speaks a lot to, I think, why he's done so well immediately at the NFL level was he had already learned, 3 different systems in college, playing for 3 different universities. And I think that just helped him adjust to an NFL where your offensive scheme can change year to year depending on your head coach and offensive coordinator.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, circumstances are everything. And Washington's, they've made a concerted effort to get new ownership, new head coach, new general manager, and they're putting their and like you said with the quarterbacks, there's always 4 or 5 or 6 first round quarterbacks that get taken most years. You got some anomalies out there for sure, but one of those guys, like last year with C.J. Stroud, I know a lot of people are high on Anthony Richardson as well, but that guy can't seem to stay healthy, so we are kind of yet to see what his true potential is. But there's always going to be at least one that comes out there and balls out, and this year I feel like it happens to be Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, and I do want to say, though, that if you look at Caleb Williams by the numbers, he's getting better with each game.
He is,
with how bad the Bears' offensive line has been. Just don't be surprised if by the end of the season, the people that have been Daniel should have been the number 1 pick, Williams is overrated. Again, situations matter. I think Chicago has arguably, definitely one of the bottom 5 worst offensive lines, whether you look at PFF grade or just his sacks allowed, pressures, etc. He's coming on. And then just real quickly, let's talk about the guy that I was someone that told everybody, let's pump the brakes with all the, I guess it was about 3-4 years ago, was starting to say that Mahomes is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time, particularly after his Super Bowl loss to the actual GOAT at QB Tom Brady. But since that time, and
so
since
it's your
that Super
fault,
Bowl
essentially,
loss,
what I have to deal with on a daily basis.
That could be fair. I am a jinx. I'll go ahead and admit that. But
you are an Atlanta sports fan. So.
You're darn right, man. Oh, my God. Since that Super Bowl loss, they trade Tyreek Hill. What do? They go and win back-to-back Super Bowls. That first year was actually the best offensive year for the Chiefs offense with Patrick Mahomes of his career, which is just absurd when you think about losing a weapon like Tyreek Hill. And then they start this year already trying to accomplish something that's never been done in the NFL history, winning 3 straight Super Bowls. And somehow, despite Marquise Brown playing 0 games, that was one of their big additions in the offseason, Isaiah Pacheco only playing the first 2 games. He's their, engine, their running back.
He's banged
And Rashee Rice being knocked out early in the first quarter of this game. They're 4-0. Brown is out indefinitely. Best case for Pacheco, they said, is at least another 6-7 weeks.
Yep.
Rice, to be determined. It sounds like it's better news than what we first thought, but I got to believe it. I got to hear it to believe that, don't you think?
Yeah, watching what his knee did in that injury, I don't know. Unless he's got rubber band knees, there's some serious ligament damage in those knees, and I don't know. I don't know why they're not. I mean, it's reported that he's likely torn his ACL, but it's they're almost keeping it close to the vest because of all this other stuff going on with Devontae Adams. I don't know. It's kind of weird what they're not saying about it yet.
How does this injury report work? Because you have team doctors. Do they report to a corporate doctor for the NFL? I don't even know how all that's.
No. They worked for the team.
Yes.
Now there are rules that the NFL applies that some teams, whether they follow them or not, like Ryan's 49ers with CMC week 1.
Oh, don't even start. He was questionable. He was limited in practice on the previous practice day. And when you're limited, that means you may not play. Look, I can't help it that everybody didn't pick up Jordan Mason. No, and he may not play a snap this year with his bilateral Achilles tendonitis.
I would have said he's probably doubtful, but that's okay. But anyway, I just want to say, though, if Mahomes does it this year, if they go on to win another Super Bowl and say have one of the best records in the NFL during the regular season, when, again, Brown, their big offseason addition, out indefinitely. He's going to miss probably 3/4 of the season with a starting running back. Now Rashee Rice is going to at least miss some time, presumably, more, maybe the entire season. If he wins a 3rd straight Super Bowl under these terms, being his 4th Super Bowl win, 5th Super Bowl in 8 years?
I quit then.
He might have a case, even with Brady having all those extra Super Bowls, that maybe this dude is the best quarterback ever, because pretty much no matter what you throw out there around him, he's going to be able to move the ball, score points, and do enough to win. So I tip my cap to him. It is crazy, though, that Mahomes, who is going to be the most affected by losing Rashee Rice, who is by far his best weapon, probably since Tyreek Hill, over the last 10, 12 games dating back to last year, he was the one that actually blew out Rice's knees trying to make a really weak tackle, on an interception.
Yeah, we talked about that. Quarterbacks, regardless of how upset you are about throwing the interception, just don't go get in the mix. Don't risk. He led with his shoulder. He could separate his shoulder doing that kind of stuff, and then lo and behold, did he know he was going to hit Rashid? Probably not. The combination, and I don't think Andy Reid gets talked enough about what he's done for Patrick Mahomes as well. I think that combination is just as important as how talented Patrick Mahomes is on the football field as well. And, Andy Reid's one, it took him a while to win his first Super Bowl, did it with Philadelphia, then comes over and gets paired up with Patrick Mahomes. And obviously, they've been in the Super Bowl, 5 times? Won 3 Super Bowls in 4.
3 out of the last 4.
Yeah.
Or 3 out of the last 5, and been 4 out of the last 5, which is just insane in modern NFL.
Well, and at the end of his career, I'm confident in saying he probably will have more Super Bowls than Tom Brady, unless something crazy happens, Andy retires, or Mahomes has goes. I think he'll always be a Chief. I think you'll see a lot of what we saw with Brady. But Jay, take us out of break because I got to sneeze. Actually, no, it went away. It went away.
I was just going to say, I think Andy Reid would be the guy that you would want on the barbecue to basically get you some brisket going.
No, cheeseburgers.
Yeah, he's a cheeseburger dude.
Is he a cheeseburger guy?
Yeah.
I got you.
I bet he can cook some KC barbecue though.
Oh,
he's been out there long enough now. He's probably good.
No doubt.
But we got to go ahead.
Another thing, hire someone who can.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. They've got some cash. But Keith Fleming on the line. We're going through all the DFS action here in the next segment. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
We're up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Hurricane Helene.
And breaking weather as it happens.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The rest of the day, sunny and a temperature of 88 with wind 3 to 7 miles per hour out of the west. Mostly clear skies tonight and warm near 73. Partly sunny most of the day except a slight chance of rain in the afternoon and evening, and 84 tomorrow. 81 and light rain Friday. This is your Wednesday's weather sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rate you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-708-3092. 800-708-3092. 800-708-3092. That's 800-708-3092.
For the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley.
This man is destroying golf.
Broadcasting live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios.
You may be right, but our ratings are up and we're attracting new youthful sponsors.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Our DFS expert is on the line with us. That is Keith Fleming. You can follow him on the Twitter X machine, whatever you want to call it. That's at Keith Fleming. Keith, like you spell it. Fleming's with 2 M's in Keith Fleming's name there. So you can go give him a follow. You can find all the amazing content they have, all sorts of shows, different things, waiver wires, who to pick up, who to drop, and of course they have a big time show right before the Sunday NFL slate as well. Keith, it's here we are already almost a quarter of the way through the season. Now that we got 17 games, we don't have an exact quarter, but might as well be through the first quarter of the season already. And we've got to figure some stuff out because things change week by week by week.
Yeah, and I mean, the good news is we are now starting to see a real sample size, where I know a lot of people would argue 4 games is not a big sample size, but you can start to figure out what teams are bad against what positions, what teams can't stop the run, what teams can't stop the pass, and that just, in my opinion, helps it easier week to week, particularly in cash games and DFS, to make some money. Last week, the lineup I gave scored 146.42 points for cash games. That should have been enough to cash almost in any contest. That is despite the bonehead move of including Saquon Barkley, who was a large price tag of $8K, and it really prevented me from having a huge weekend because I had a lot of really good plays that included, like in that lineup, I gave Jaden Daniels, Aaron Jones, Deontay Johnson, obviously Nico Collins, who was my favorite play. If you follow me on Twitter or on my shows of any play in DFS last week versus that Jaguars secondary.
Keith, real quick, what do you think the deal with the Eagles is? I know that they didn't have Devontae and A.J. Brown last week. The previous week they didn't have A.J. Brown. But, going back to last season, obviously they've added Saquon. He had a great first game and a decent second week game as well. But what do you think is it about the Eagles? Is it their secondary that's just really be a huge red flag for him that's allowing these other teams to kind of get up and kind of get on them and make stuff happen? I'm surprised with the amount of weapons that the Philadelphia Eagles have, both offensively and on their front seven there on defense as well. I've heard some rumors Nick Sirianni may be the guy on the hot seat after Doug Peterson.
He should be. To me, if you look at what this team has been since they lost Shane Steichen, who, in my opinion, was the real catalyst for all their success 2 years ago, it's been rough. And, I mean, it's like last week. I know you got down early, but for Saquon Barkley in a game that you don't have A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith to just get 10 rush attempts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's on the coaching. That's on the coaching. Like 100% that's on the coaching, because even if you're down 14-0, like they came out trying to throw, which I will never understand that. Tampa has struggled against the run mightily this season, and you're coming out without your top two receivers, and I believe they passed on 4 of their first 6 plays. Like, what are you doing?
Confusing. It just doesn't make sense.
Something is going to have to change, because that team, again, they've already paid Hurts. And if you ask me right now, and this is not a knock on Jalen Hurts, it's really more about just how many good QBs there are in the NFC. I would say he's like at best the 7th, 8th best QB in the NFC right now. Yeah. And you paid that man a good bit of money. It's going to be intriguing to see what happens. If I was them, I would lean very heavily on Saquon Barkley. Obviously, you hope those guys, the receivers, will be back there on a bye this week. They try to figure some things out. But remember, this head coach hired 2 new coordinators last season because he lost both of them in Gannon and Steichen to head coaching jobs. And he ended up firing those coordinators that he hired only like 8-9 weeks in.
Yeah.
Hired 2 new coordinators, and things got worse, not better. So to me, at some point, like, you got to look in the mirror if you're the head coach and be like,
he's still there. He's still there. Yeah, no doubt. Just wanted to ask about that real quick. Get your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles situation.
Yeah, it doesn't pain me at all, because I'm not a huge fan of any Philly teams. Particularly can't stand the Phillies, obviously, because of the baseball ties, the Atlanta Braves. But again, it is what it is. But a lot of talent on that team. They still could turn around.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. But hey, they better start thinking about it soon if these Washington Commanders keep winning the football games.
Yeah, and hopefully people listen to you and put a little future money bet on Washington to win the division. That was a great call.
We may talk about that in the final segment. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I love it. All right, this week, the DK lineup. And again, the last 2 weeks been pretty good. Last week was not quite as good as the week before, but I think it would have cashed in just about any single entry or 50-50, which I recommend. So QB, let's go Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers, 6,500 at the Rams. I had real concerns about the Packers starting Love coming off the injury versus the Vikings D. First half, I felt like the smartest guy in the room. And then the second half, I was going, well, maybe that was not such a great call, because he almost brought him all the way back for the win. In his 2 starts, he's averaging almost 26 points per game on DK, currently the only quarterback in the NFL averaging over 300-plus yards per game, multiple passing touchdowns in each. And this Rams defense, it's real bad. In the last 3 weeks, facing Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy without Kittle or Debo, and rookie Caleb Williams, they allowed 7 passing touchdowns to that trio. That is half of the total pass touchdowns of those 3 guys on the season. The Rams secondary is allowing the most yards per attempt in the NFL at 9.1 this season, and the 3rd most passing touchdowns. I'm going to go to Ryan's boy, Jordan Mason, 7,400.
Look at him all the way up to 7,400. Now
he's getting expensive, but I think it's worth it because your boys are back.
Yes.
Week 3 without Debo and Kittle, he had his bad game. 21 touches, 88 yards. Both of them returned last week, and Mason went back to being one of the best backs in fantasy. In the 3 games that Mason started with all the key 49ers passing options, at least playing part of the game, he's averaging 138 total yards per, scored a touchdown in each one of them, averaging 24.2 points per game on DraftKings in those games, with at least 20 points in each of them. And these Cardinals, real bad again, 29th on DK against running backs. They're allowing the 5th most rushing yards per game in the NFL and the most rushing touchdowns. Love to hear that. The other guy that I'm running at running back, Derrick Henry, 7,800, the guy that I whiffed on in the most fantasy drafts, I'll admit it, I thought his best days were behind him. It looked like the Ravens also appeared that they thought his best days were behind him with how little they used him in the first 2 games, only rushing him 31 times. They went 0-2 in those games. Since then, they have decided we're going to feed the beast. 49 rush attempts for 350 yards on the ground for Henry since then. No surprise, the Ravens are 2-0 despite playing 2 pretty good opponents. Henry is the safest back to play on DK right now. He scored a touchdown in each game this season, 6 total touchdowns through 4 games. He scored at least 16.6 points in each of the last 3 weeks. And they're using him some in the passing game, which remember, that PPR just gives him a higher floor. He has 5 receptions for 45 yards and a score the last 3 weeks. He was not involved in the passing game very much, at least early in his career in Tennessee. The Bengals are 23rd on DK versus the run. They've given up the 8th most rushing yards so far this season, the 6th most touchdowns. And more than anything, I just expect the Ravens to lean on Henry to keep Joe Burrow and a thriving Bengals offense off the field as much as possible in what is a really big game for both of these teams, because the Bengals will either go to 1-4 or the Ravens will fall to 2-3. Wide receiver, I'm going to one matchup with 2 terrible secondaries for half of the wide receivers this week. Michael Pittman, 6,000 at Jacksonville. I get it. You probably benched Pittman last week and were infuriated as he went over 100 yards. But it's very understandable why you had. Before that first 3 weeks, 6 catches. For the first 3 games, he had 11 receptions for just 87 yards. Last week, 6 for 113. Part of it was him and Richardson hooked up twice before he got hurt. The other part was just Flacco came in. And I will say, if Flacco is not playing this week, I'm pivoting off this play. But if Flacco, who looks like he's going to start, Pittman is a perfect fit for somebody like Joe Flacco with his route running ability and size. This week he's facing a Jaguars secondary. They're 28th on DK versus wide receivers. Number 1 wide receivers versus Jacksonville this year. 28 receptions for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's over 22 points per game on DraftKings. On the other side, Christian Kirk, 5,700 against the bad Indy secondary. Now, I couldn't find another 200 to get Brian Thomas in this lineup, but I really like him this week with the Colts' lack of pass rush. But I'll gladly take Kirk, the Jags' most targeted wide receivers. You want wide receivers versus this Colts team. They're so bad. The Colts are allowing 11.3 yards per completion and tied for the most receptions of 40 yards or more. Another reason you should consider putting Brian Thomas in your lineups this week. And then Kirk, he got off to a really slow start, but in the last 2 weeks, he's cooking 22 targets, 15 receptions, 140 yards and a touchdown, at least 15.9 points in PPR formats, which DK is the last 2 weeks. So 5,700 is a good value.
Hey, Keith.
And then my favorite yeah.
Hey, when you close the refrigerator door, does that light go on or does it go off? Or does it go off?
How do you know?
Have you not ever pushed the little pop-up?
Yeah, it goes off.
Does it go off?
Yeah.
You want to after in the break? I'll show you in the fridge here in the second.
Okay, I got you.
I'm glad to know that was in your mind bouncing around there. That's good stuff.
Right? Yeah. That's why you can't find $1.70.
This PSA brought to you by Jay Henley. Pardon the interruption.
Oh, goodness.
Dontavian Wicks, my favorite play this week, and the guy that if he is available in your fantasy leagues, go pick him up. $5,000 at the Rams. He's currently being targeted on 31% of his routes. That's 5th among all wide receivers. And the reason why I state that is because Christian Watson is out for the week, meaning Wicks will be on the field for all 3 wide receiver sets, which Green Bay runs heavily. Last week, Watson went out early. Wicks ran at least 70% of routes of the Packers' passing plays. He caught 5 passes, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns, had a monster game, 24.8 points. I expect him to hit that number again this week because, of course, Watson is out. And in his 3 career games with 70+% of route participation, we know the 24.8 last week. He scored 24.1 points in Week 18 last season and 15.7 in Week 15 as well last year. So, again, if Wicks is available in your fantasy leagues, go scoop him up. He could end up being a league winner. I think that he is going to earn a spot in this offense with how he plays and the time that Watson misses. And he's only $5K on DK versus a Rams team who allows 12.6 yards per reception, giving up 8 touchdowns. This is the Rams secondary that allowed Juwan Jennings to score 49.5 points just 2 weeks ago. Another wide receiver filling in for an injured starter who had flashed potential when giving significant playing time before. Not saying he's going to have the Jennings-type game, but it would not surprise me at all if Wick scores 20 to 30 points. Eric All is my tight end, 2,700 versus Baltimore. I said it last week. I'll keep saying it. I'm going to punt on tight ends until I see them start scoring more points. And until DK raises the price on All, I'm going to just keep using him for cash games because he's got a great floor for his price. He's caught 4 passes in 3 straight games, scored at least 6.2 points in each one of them, finished top 20 among tight ends on DK 3 straight weeks. And what I'm most excited about is he finally was the Bengals tight end on the field for the most snaps last week with 40. Now, it did not mean more routes. He only ran 10. 12 is the most he's ran in a game this season. But he's being targeted on over 30% of routes that he runs. He was the 3rd among Bengals in first read targets last week behind Chase and Higgins. That is significant. That means they ran basically plays to obviously Chase and Higgins, but the 3rd person up in design plays was Eric All. As his snaps increase, his routes will as well, so you need to get in on this guy. The Ravens are currently 30th on DK versus opposing tight ends. The flex real quick, Ramondre Stevenson, 6K versus Miami. I know this is kind of icky after he's coming off 23 touches and a combined 10.5 points over the last 2 weeks. But those were games Pats were down early and often. They face a Dolphins offense this week that since losing Tua has scored a combined 15 points in 2.5 quarters. I think that's going to continue, meaning the Pats stay in this game. That's good for Stevenson because in the first 2 games, both competitive for the Patriots, Stevenson saw 51 touches, had over 200 total yards, 2 touchdowns, scored at least 17 points in each of those games. And the Dolphins, in their last 3 games where they can't score points without Tua, opposing running backs have accounted for 417 yards and 7 touchdowns. I don't hate Antonio Gibson this week either. And that's why I'm using the defense of the New England Patriots at 2,900 versus that Dolphins. The offense is bad. Again, 15 points in 2.5 games since Tua's injury. 389 yards of total offense the last 2 weeks. 3 for 24 on 3rd downs the last 2 weeks. And this is a Pats D with multiple sacks in 3 or 4 games and multiple turnovers forced in 2 of 4. So that is my Week 5 official DK cash lineup.
Jay.
Yes.
Do you know what a stack is?
A stack. In basketball.
That's $1,000.
That's true.
Or $1,000. But in basketball, whenever you stack the lineup, you know, when the inbound pass, you stack your
Also fair.
Very true.
Yeah.
Hey, that's true.
Yeah.
And then you
But
break.
but you know what it is for DFS is the question.
Oh, now that I do not.
Well, it's one of the things Keith does more often than not in his official lineup.
He stacks them.
He stacks them. He's got Jordan Love and Dontavian Wicks in his. That would be a stack because that's your quarterback and a wide receiver from the same team.
Stack them deep, sell them cheap.
There you go. There you
Hot
go.
dog.
Yeah, I'm still on that, Jay. That's great.
Wait. Hold on. Actually, David, last week on Friday, I created a document, finally, that is the T-shirt idea document.
Oh, wow.
It only has one on there so far because Jay
that will grow.
Jay hasn't been in too much. Jay, I need you to run that one back for me.
Stack them deep, sell them cheap.
Stack them deep, sell them. I
think you could throw that will grow on there as well.
This is the one he had from last week. This was good.
This will grow.
You may be in the right game, but not in the right position.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
My goodness, dude.
Tell everybody where they can find your
The Southern
wonderful
phenomenon.
information.
You can find everything on my Twitter/X account that is at Keith Fleming, KeithFleming. You can also find my stuff on fantasysixpack.net and fantasyandframes.com. Same thing for their YouTube channels, social media accounts. But just follow me on Twitter. I obviously share all of my stuff there. If you ever have any fantasy questions, don't hesitate to hit me up, and I hope everybody has a very good gambling weekend, whether that's DFS or just betting on games or player props outright.
Absolutely, Keith. We appreciate you as always, and looking forward to another fun weekend of football. Tell your Georgia Bulldogs to be nice to those Auburn Tigers. They're having a tough go so far this year, and they're close, but they're just not there yet. Please, 24. That's a lot.
It is. I would take the points. I know Georgia's going to be angry after last week, but I have some concerns, to say the least. Mm-hmm. I think that they're going to be good, but I don't know about national title hopes. We'll see.
Well, we got 12 teams this year, so you never know. You got to be trending at the right time. Keith, have a great rest of your week. Looking forward to talking to you again.
Yes, sir. Take care, guys. Have a great day.
All right, you guys are listening to the Inside Drive. Final segment on this Wednesday afternoon. Coming up next, we'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Race to Talladega.
All right, Ryan, are you sitting down?
Sitting down.
Well, stand up, because you just won the Race to Talladega.
Oh, boy. I can't stand up because I'm driving, but, man, that is exciting.
You posted a 2-second qualifying time, the fastest in the heat. You are in the pole position.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing KHS TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. All your local favorites: Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC. Plus, catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks. ESPN, the NFL Network, and the NBA Network. It's more than just sports. KHS offers 50-plus movie channels, 150-plus entertainment channels, all your favorite news networks, and watch thousands of movies and TV shows on demand. All for just $40 a month with a one-time $2 billing fee. And you can watch up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score KHS TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the TV logo. That's ESPNPC.com and click the TV logo.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
Broadcasting live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios.
Have a quick stretch first.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
Must have pulled something playing hoops last week.
And Jay Henley.
I know you're not putting that rock up from here. You ain't got no J.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, Mid-South Lumber has partnered with Fox Monroe Homes to collect hurricane supplies from the North Carolina flood victims. It is bad up there. Any donation can help. They'll be collecting now through Friday, October 4th, and will coordinate to get that on a truck that is headed to the region. Donations can be made at both Mid-South Lumber locations. Jay Henley.
Yes, sir.
Last week, I just added the points from the divisional baseball games into our pick'ems.
Okay.
And we will resume our picking 10 games this week as well. So unfortunately, due to that, the gap has widened very, very quickly. But hey, we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go. And one of the things that is included, you know what I think I'm going to do too? Hockey starts next week. We're going to pick a division winner for hockey as well.
That's not good.
Yeah. What would be one?
Boy.
What would be one that would be good for you, Jay?
None of them.
None of them?
Yeah. No.
Well, next,
We tried NASCAR.
we did. And then that ended because David just dominated that one. And I had to end this year's pick 'em at some point. So it got out of hand.
Yeah.
The Delta got big.
All I'm thinking about is when you're on a 2-lane road and then you know how it merges. There used to be a sign in Griffin called "Take Gap, Give Gap." I wonder if
T-shirt.
like David, give me some of your gap.
Okay.
Whoa, them J-isms, boy. Look, J apostrophe isms, I'll tell you what.
Things took a turn there in the final segment, and it wasn't a left turn.
It was a right turn. Actually, that was a left turn.
Yeah, it was a fork in the road.
Give me 30 points. Give me 30 points, David.
We might. Hey, if this, I'll tell you what, we'll incorporate the T-shirts into your points in the pick'em here. I don't know how, but we will do it. All right, so what I wanted to do, with that being said, obviously we've picked all the divisions. There's 8 divisions in the NFL. Each one of those is going to be worth 10 points. So as we get closer to the end of season, there may be some opportunities to close the gap or fall even further away. So
take gap, give gap.
There you go.
We're doing the NHL right now?
No. I'm going to review who all we picked for the divisions and see where we stand at the first quote-unquote quarter of the season. All right. It starts with the NFC East. Jay, do you remember who you picked?
Oh, gosh, I don't.
You were born last night. You were born at night, but not last night. You picked the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
David, the Philadelphia Eagles. Both smart picks. And then I went with the trend and went with the Washington Commanders. So far, so good, but we got a long way to go. Washington Commanders lead the division at a 3-1 record. Cowboys and Eagles tied at 2-2, and the New York Football Giants hanging out down there at 1-3. But nobody picked them, so we don't have to worry about that. Commanders are the only team in the division with a plus differential in points.
Hot dog.
Jay, define that.
I don't know.
So how many points you scored
Okay.
and how many points you've given up, that is your point differential. A very common tiebreaker among sports in general.
When you do your hands like that, that's take gap, give gap.
That's right. That's right.
That's taking the gap, though, because it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had to give the gap, right, to have them apart, and then you take it.
That's true.
So it's
That's
give
true.
gap, take gap.
What about here's the church, here's the steeple, open the church, there are the people.
Hey,
You ever do that?
I can't do it, but I've seen it done.
How can you not do it? You just got to take the gap and give the gap.
All right, so we're going inside the gap.
No, you're going this way.
Take your hands.
Yeah.
Oh, the other way.
There it is.
It's something that's not very common. Nobody usually sits like this. It kind of hurts your fingers. Then you go, here's the church, here's the steeple. Open the church, and here are the people. You got this. Yeah, you got to make the noise, too. That's what they do in church. There I am. I'm
Wrong mic, I had
It's
to stop
okay. I
myself.
get it. You wanted to cut me off. I'm doing hand motions, and you can't see that if you're listening on the radio. But you got close there. You got close.
Yes.
You got close.
Yeah.
Anyway, next we're going with the NFC West. Jay, you took the Rams. Not a bad idea, but they've been kind of decimated with injuries. And David and I both took the San Francisco 49ers. Currently, the Seattle Seahawks are winning that division. They are 3-1. The Niners are 2-2. The Cardinals and the Rams are both 1-3. The Niners play the Cardinals this week and the Seahawks the next week, so that could certainly change depending on the outcomes of those games. But hey, long way to go. That one's pretty close. NFC South, Jay. Looking good in the NFC South. You went with the Buccaneers, who are 3-1. The Falcons and the Saints, both 2-2. And the Carolina Panthers did get a victory and are 1-3. David and I both took the Falcons in that one. So, hey, none of us has the current leader in the NFC West, but as of right now, you've got a leader, I've got a leader, and I think things are going to start turning around a little bit in the NFC West, depending on, injuries and all that. But anyway, moving to the NFC North, none of us have the 4-0 Minnesota Vikings. Long way to go. Obviously, things could change, but I don't know. Minnesota's looking pretty darn good. The next closest is the gentleman who took the Detroit Lions, and that is David Hayes. Jay, you took the Chicago Bears.
Oh, boy.
And, oh, boy.
Well, they're 2-2, though, right?
Oh, boy.
Boy.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Boy.
Yeah, they're 2-2, and I took the Green Bay Packers, who are also 2-2, and the Chicago Bears, and the Detroit Lions are 3-1. That entire division, they all have plus differentials right now, which is pretty impressive.
How about that? For the NFC North, that's impressive.
No doubt. The New Orleans Saints, who are tied at 2-2, they have a plus 57 point differential, and they've lost 2 games. But that was really in their first 2 games, and the next 2 games are very close. Minnesota leads the league, tied with the Saints right now as well, with a plus 57 point differential in just 4 games.
And they're probably going to score a lot more because they're playing overseas this Sunday.
Yep.
They've got the Jitterbugs.
London. Yep.
London.
Against the Jets. Sam Darnold revenge game?
Could be.
I doubt it. I think he just balls out regardless,
Yeah.
whether he's revenging or not.
Yeah.
Be good. But yeah, so in that division, none of us have the leader. David's the closest with the Lions at 3-1, and then you and I are both 2-2 with your pick of the Bears and my pick of the Packers. AFC East, I'm almost embarrassed for this one. You took the Dolphins. I took the Dolphins. Did we know Tua was going to go out? We probably should have. It's kind of been a trend. But David currently leading this one because he took the New York Jets, who are not leading the division, but at least are 500 in the division, with the Patriots and the Dolphins both being 1-3. And the Buffalo Bills, your former team, currently 3-1 with a very solid plus 39 point differential. The Miami Dolphins have the largest point differential on the negative side, even worse than the Carolina Panthers at negative 58 points. They've scored 45 and they've given up 103. So like Keith was talking about, if you're matching up this week, I think it's Patriots, Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they play.
You know, this might be an opportunity to get some stuff going for some of those Patriots players against a very, very rough looking Miami defense. So, you know, that we may not win one in that one. And then David and I looking good. Chiefs in the AFC West. We both picked them because until they don't do what they do, you got to go with them unless you're you and you take the Gardner Minshew-led Raiders who are looking to dump Devontae Adams. Hey, look, they're 2-2. They're the only team in the division that has a negative point differential, but all the other teams besides the Chiefs are 2-2. So you're not in a horrible spot, but I just don't think it's going to get any better for him.
Having a life moment here is like where you sit back and it's like, man, did I make that decision back a few months ago? Yep, I did.
Yeah, that's how we feel like when you're making the decision.
Right.
But we roll with it because it's part of what we do here on the Inside Drive.
I'm just glad that this show isn't like Jay's fandom, right? Because like when Jay leaves a team, all of a sudden they just start doing well. But when Jay is not here on the show, it's like, man, we miss Jay, and the show's just not the same.
Well,
you're blushing, and I like it.
I'm blushing.
Starting to match your shirt.
That's it. You got the baby blue shorts on, though, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I think that's a clean look, brother.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
You'd look cleaner if you would have shaved your head after you lost the bet.
No. That's some beautiful hair. No, we don't need other people.
Hair grows back.
It does for some people.
It would grow back for him.
Here that it doesn't.
Looks like a damn water buffalo, the hair he's got on the top of his head.
Water buffalo.
That's thick. I mean, yeah.
D. Hayes, when is the last time you had a haircut, though?
I cut it. I have to cut it. I cut the sides.
Oh, I got you.
Uniformity. That's a haircut.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like when I do, sometimes I'll like use a, not a 1, but like a 1/4 inch. Or not a 1/4 inch, like it's a 1/4 guard or whatever.
Yeah.
Quarter guard, I guess. And when I do that, it takes so long to like start sprigging back up in certain areas.
They're trying to get grass to grow out of green.
I need some fertilizer. Actually, I think they do like hair plugs in certain countries and whatnot.
I think you do it in the United States too.
Yeah, but I think I'd probably get it a little cheaper if I go somewhere.
That's true. It's like plastic surgery in Mexico.
Yeah, plastic surgery.
It may not work great, but it's cheaper.
Right?
Oh,
did y'all ever have a chia pet when you were growing up?
I don't think I ever did.
Not when I was growing up, but I do remember, I don't know when it was, but it was a Christmas, and the kids were both alive, so it's fairly recent, but I don't know if it was theirs or whatnot, but my parents had gotten one, I think, for our family, and it was a chia pet. I never had one prior.
Right.
I mean, it's just grass growing in a rock that looks like a pet.
Yeah, that's
basically. But hey, they sold a lot of them. It's kind of like the pet rock guy.
Yep.
If you can sell it, it doesn't matter what it is. If it sells, that's all that matters. All right, 2 more divisions. AFC South, Jay took the Texans. David took the Colts. And unfortunately, I thought they were going to do a lot better, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars, one of the other winless teams in the league. But the Texans off to a good start, 3-1. Colts right there at 2-2, and the Titans are 1-3. Every team except the Indianapolis Colts has a negative point differential. Even the Houston Texans. The Indianapolis Colts are at 0. They've scored 85. They've given up 85.
The Titans have a negative point differential?
Negative 11.
Hey, and they just whooped the Dolphins too. That's how bad it is.
That's how bad it is for the Dolphins. Negative. But yeah, who beat the Texans? Jay did. Ooh, Jaybird.
Hey.
This might end up coming out to a little bit of a wash.
Okay.
Attaboy.
Especially with this last one. You fine gentlemen in the AFC North both took the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't know why, kind of like you said, that I took the Cleveland Browns.
Hey.
Maybe Joe Flacco will go back and bring him to the promised land.
No, they got Jameis over there.
That's true.
I'm waiting on him to get the call. Deshaun has looked a little bit better, I guess, over the last 2 weeks. But I don't think it's good when you're losing to the Raiders. But so did the Ravens, so there's that.
Yeah, there you go. Week in and week out, it can change. But the Steelers are leading the AFC North right now, 3-1, behind the heels and feet, somewhat of an arm of Justin Fields. The Baltimore Ravens are 2-2, but the Browns are 1-3 with a negative 21-point differential. And Pittsburgh Steelers leading that one with plus 22. The differentials are interesting. I like looking at those because it really tells kind of a story when you're looking to do picks and stuff like that. You know, the data now, like he said, here we are through week 4. You can really start to see what teams, and you got to take injuries into consideration and all that, but kind of getting a good idea of what teams are starting to look like now. So, and first bye week this week, make sure you're paying attention to your fantasy leagues. If you got people starting, it's I think there's 4 teams on a bye this week, and then of course also early games, as it just said there on the TV. You got the London game, so if you're looking to play somebody and you haven't put them in yet, it's going to be 8:30 our time. The first game kicks off this Sunday. So pay attention out there and make sure you got your lineup set the way you want to do it. Tomorrow we'll be hanging out all day, having a lot of fun. I don't think we have any guests lined up, so you better be here and you better be in full J mode. No doubt about that. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Don't forget, keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers that are affected by this devastating hurricane all over the Southeast. You guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow.